Sugar, sugar, sugar. Spice, spice, spice. And everything nice.
Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Aria Allies. So we are back with another video. This one is just gonna be, this is probably not gonna be a very long video. It's probably gonna be just me talking about some things that I'm going forward with my book. If you know, you know. At the end of my last video, I did kind of touch base with a little bit about what I wanted to talk about and like how I wanted to move forward as far as the editing process. But I feel like I needed to do like an in-depth video of like goals, things that I'm trying to do, like processes, stuff like that. So this is what this video is. I'm just basically going to be talking about how I'm going to move forward with the editing process, and hopefully everything will go according to plan. I'm so nervous, but I'm also very, very excited. So like, comment, and subscribe, and stick around, and all of that stuff. And let's get into the video. So I also just want to say, I'm so sorry if you can hear the dryer in the back. My mom is washing clothes, and I honestly need to wash clothes as well. I just haven't. So yeah, it's also 4:07 in the afternoon. But that's fine. You know, it's totally fine. I feel like when I was at university, I was able to just like wake up, go to the library, really study, really work on the character. Like, I feel like I had such a routine in Fayetteville, and I feel like I just don't have that right now. And I feel so like out of place. Like, I remember I was on my internship like yesterday, and I was literally asking the person I was shadowing, I was like, is there any like coffee shops, libraries? Like, I just don't freaking know. Like, I'm trying to find things to do, but I'm also about to start a new job, and that's gonna be from 8 to 5. So where am I gonna find the time to literally go out and you know, go to a coffee shop, go to a library, and all that other type of stuff, so I can work in a place? Because I like working at home, but I feel like I would rather like go out, because I feel like it would force me to like actually do work, you know, do like things that I need to do. But that's neither here nor there. Anyway, if you don't know what my book is about, if you're new to this channel, let me explain. I am in the process of writing a YA fantasy fiction novel. It is currently, I actually have no clue what the freaking word count is. And my mom was actually talking about me the other day because I don't know how to pronounce numbers well. So I'm gonna try to pronounce this one. 100, oh fudge, I'm so scared. 884. I think that's how you say it. If not, editor Aria is gonna put the number at the bottom of the freaking screen. That's my word count, and the book is basically about, four teenagers who get in a bus accident that almost cost them their lives. They wake up to find that they were saved by a foreign power. However, that power comes at a cost. It belonged to a powerful and heinous king from another world, and he is coming to collect his powers. The team must now work together so that they can save themselves and the world around them and everything else beyond. So basically, yeah, the king is coming to get his powers from them, you know, like them, let's have a life or death situation. But there's also other levels to this behind the scenes, like their world is at stake. A lot of other big things are at stake, which we'll find out when the book is published, and I'm saying when, not if. As far as editing, there's a lot of stuff in this manuscript that needs editing, and I have a doc open, and it's kind of like, this is kind of like the things that I picked up on, things that I got off the internet, things that I've seen in other videos. So this is like editing your first draft or whatever. This is type of like some tips that I wrote down. I don't know how many tips that there are, but here are some tips that I picked up on. If you're editing your first draft or whatever, if you just want to watch the video, you know, take notes, because I like some of this stuff. I feel like it really is going to be helpful, and it already has helped me. So like, take time off. That's like the very first thing. A lot of authors take time off their first draft, and it makes so much sense because I've been writing this book for probably about a whole year now, like actually writing it. And I feel like taking time away from it really is helping me stand back and look at it from a distance and like kind of see like the whole picture issues. Once I finally like actually get back into it and start editing, I'll be able to see like big picture issues, all this other type of stuff. So yeah, definitely take time off of it. That's like the thing that I think all authors do across the freaking board. I feel like at this point I've probably taken like 3 weeks to like even a month off, I think. The next thing is Reread Your Story from start to finish. So this one, I honestly wanted to do this to begin with. It's probably gonna take me a long time personally, but as I'm reading the story, I'm not gonna make any edits. What I'm going to do is I'm gonna read each chapter, and then after each chapter, I'm gonna write in my notebook about things that I wanna edit in each chapter, things that I wanna fix. And this is not line editing, this is just overall editing, like things that I picked up on and that I know that I need to fix. This is like map out arcs, subplots. There's a lot of different arcs and subplots. I have 4 main characters and it's switching between 4 different POVs, and because of that, they all have their own issues and things that they all have their own issues and things that need to happen within them to like grow as a person and grow from, you know, who they are at the beginning of the story and who they are at the end. And so because of that, I feel like I have to really be meticulous in how I'm editing their subplots and everything like that. The next thing that I need to focus on is like double checking transitional scenes, and that's basically making sure that it makes sense while they're going from point A to point B and point B to point C. I don't want it to just be like, oh, we have to be there, like, bada, we popped up. I want it to kind of be like a cause and effect, like there's a real reason and a real cause and a real need to go into the next scene and go, like, it happens, you know? So I think I'm pretty good on transitional scenes, honestly, though. Like, I feel like it all serves a purpose. This next one is ensure conflict. Their whole freaking book is conflict, honestly. But I do want to make sure that, you know, for me, internal conflict can be even more detrimental than external conflict. With one of my characters, it actually is more detrimental just because one of her internal conflicts is like preventing her to succeed in an external conflict she's having. So it's kind of like keeping her held down, and she's not able to overcome it until later on. So that's why I do think like internal conflict, it can and maybe is more important than all the surface level conflict happening. Strengthen the theme. I really need to do this one. I literally do not know. I really still don't even know like the theme for real. I think I have a part at the bottom of my notes and it's like theme ? And it's like pushing through the odds, doing what they say you can't, finding unity and diversity differences. Okay, found family. Like, I'm really trying to figure out what the theme of the story is, and it hurts me because I really like the story and I think it's a really good story. I've got a lot of positive feedback on it, but I'm just like, I can't think. For me, theme is like a really good like message under it, and I'm like, these like pushing through the odds, like that's like a freaking quote on a poster. Like, I don't know if it's good enough to be a theme. Like, I don't know, okay? So I'm still working on theme, and I'm honestly scared that I cannot. I know that maybe later on after the edit or whatever, you'll find it, but I know that other authors, whatever, I've heard that they find theme later on, like after the first edit anyway. So after the first draft or after the first edit anyway. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'll find the theme then, but for right now, I feel like it's up in the air. Avoid line edits. That's probably gonna be my biggest struggle because I love to just change something really quick and be over with it. But, oh gosh, it's gonna be so hard for me to avoid line editing, but I'm going to try. So, and then the last one is just take your time, which that's gonna also be kind of difficult because for whatever reason, I feel like I'm on like a time crunch, even though I'm not. Like, I'm not on a deadline. I don't have an agent. I'm not like, no one's expecting me to like release this book in like 6 months or something. Like, I'm definitely not on a time crunch, but for some reason I just really want to get it published, and I really just want to get it just done because this is also a trilogy. So I also have the next book to work on and then the book after that. So yeah, those are just some like tips that I'm keeping in mind as I'm like editing and as I'm gonna start editing and all the other type of stuff. If you wrote those down, cool. If you didn't, also cool. You probably know better than me. I feel like I'm not the most, like, I watch author YouTubers all the time and it feels like they just know so much about everything, and I feel like I have like imposter syndrome or something. Like, I haven't read a lot of classics. I don't know a lot about the Save the Cat theory. I don't know a lot about like all of these like structures and things like that. Like, I feel like I'm just like sitting in the back of the classroom and I'm in like the room full of like smart people and I don't know everything. And and that's like really hard for me to say, but it's true. Like, I just feel like I don't know. So I mean, the only thing I can do is just keep researching, keep trying to like figure out everything. I do know a little bit about the Save the Cat theory, but it's just like, you know, I feel like I just have to up my game, which I'm gonna have to do. Like, I have to. But I feel like I'm also not alone in that feeling. Like, honestly, comment down below if you're writing a book and if you also feel that way. If you don't, then congratulations. But if you do, then thank you. These are some known changes that I have to make in the book. So these are things that I know that I have to make within my book. This is not like a general, like, before I was giving just general like tips and tricks that I seen on the internet, seen author YouTubers give, all the other type of stuff. The next portion is I'm just gonna explain like some things that I know that I need to work on for this book, just because I know that I effed the freak up. One of the biggest things, one of the most hugest things that I need to work on is the overall structure of this book. Now, if you've watched my vlogs before, you know that my structure, there is no structure. I mean, there's structure, but the length of the chapters, first of all, the length of my chapters towards the beginning of the book, entirely too long. I have a 100,000 like freaking word book and I only have 35 chapters. Yeah, the length, it's because the length of my chapters and freaking part 1 and part 2 of the book is so long. Like, it should not, the length of chapters should not be that long. It's actually insane. So yeah, that's first thing about structure. Second thing, I have a 4-person POV, like I mentioned before. I don't know why I was doing this. And now I look back on it and I'm like, that was so freaking stupid, Aria. Why did you do that? Towards the beginning, when I was first started writing the book, and I've read Six of Crows and the freaking, okay. Anyway, I was putting the characters, I would be like, let's say the character is like pink, blue, red, orange. Let's just say that those are the names. Those are not the names, but for the example, I put the order pink, blue, red, orange, pink, blue, red, orange, and that's how I'm going with the chapters. Don't mind my middle finger. I was putting on lip gloss, but that was how I was doing each chapter. It'd go pink, blue, red, orange in that order. Mind you, the plot was not going pink, blue, red, orange. I made it go that, and it didn't. The plot shouldn't have been. It should have been. The chapter should transition to whoever is carrying the plot at that moment. Whichever character is carrying the plot and advancing the plot, that's who that chapter should go to. But because I thought for whatever reason it had to be in order, I was like pink, blue, red, orange, and it did not have to be in that order. And I did that up until, I don't know, I want to say 3rd act. I have a 4-act book, by the way. 3rd act is when I finally was like, this is kind of stupid. Why did I do this? And then I went back and I was like, oh my gosh, I literally read Six of Crows and she didn't structure her book like that. So why did I do that? Yeah, so that's one of the biggest things as well. The second thing is to change one of my characters' names. Now, I don't know if I mentioned this, but an author who recently, I don't know if it's out yet, but it will be out soon. It's definitely, I think it's gonna be out in like fall or whatever. She has a very similar character to my character, similar character, similar powers, similar even personality. And I was like, dang it. And she also has the exact same name. So I now have to change. I am just gonna change it because I was honestly torn between 2 names. So I was like, no, this is the reason why I am gonna end up changing my character's name. And it's totally fine with that. And I honestly think I like this name better just because I think it's like, I think it works. Like, I just love it. And I won't reveal the names because I feel like the names is kind of a big part. I don't know. I might reveal them later. Wait a second. I think I did reveal the names later. Actually, I did. I think I revealed 2 names. If you guys find the 2 names that I revealed in like a past vlog, cool, whoop-de-doo, that's whatever. But as for the other names, I think I'm going to keep them to myself for now just because I don't know. I feel like this name is gonna stick, but I also have another character and I don't know if her name's gonna stick. So that's why I'm like, let me just pace myself on revealing that type of information. But anyway, I do like this name better and I do need to change one of my characters' names. That's not a big thing, but that's still one thing that I keep in mind. And that's not a big change at all. Structure powers better. That's literally what it's written. So I feel like my magic system is not the best setup, and I feel like I don't know, I was trying to just give them powers, but the reasoning for their powers has to like line up with the like something that's with like information towards like years like millennia ago, like that long ago. Like their powers have to kind of line up with that. And because of that, I feel like the power system itself is wonky, and the reasoning for the powers, what they can and can't do, I feel like there needs to be kind of a clear, not clear, but it needs to be more of a line between what they can and can't do. Because obviously you want your magic system to be able to change a bit, as change but keep it like structured, but do have small changes in your power system, as long as it all makes sense. And like that's what I do want, but I feel like I do need like a sturdy foundation to start off on, and I don't have that right now. So I definitely need to structure their powers better, structure the system better, make sure that there's a clear line of what they can and can't do, and then moving forward, oh, there's an exception for this and that, if that makes sense. I don't know, it might not, but if you're having trouble understanding that, there's a Tracy Deonn, who is the author of Legendborn, the 3 cycle series Legendborn book, if you ever heard of that. She really explains it well about like magic systems and like altering it as the story progresses and moves on. So I think, you know, if you're still confused about what I'm saying, just kind of like maybe look that up and that'll help you out. This one, I need to understand one of my characters better. I definitely think that I understand her better than I did towards the beginning of the book. I kind of wanted, and I can tell you, like I kind of wanted her to be kind of like a Raven. Like if you know Raven from Teen Titans Go, you know, she's kind of like dark and like ugh, and like she's like whatever, like I don't even care. And that's one of my characters, and I kind of wanted her to have kind of like this cold shoulder type of like, I don't care, it's whatever, I don't like, nobody talk to me. Like she's kind of like always like ugh, you know, she's always annoyed and irritated with everything. And I wanted her to have that type of mentality, but I also wanted her to have, I don't know, I wanted her, for the reasons that when she does start caring about stuff and when she does start caring about people, I wanted it to kind of make sense and unfold in a great like chill way. Because obviously, you know, like Raven from Teen Titans Go, she has this like, well, not Teen Titans Go, just Teen Titans, okay, if you know, you know. But she has this kind of like it's whatever type of attitude, but when it comes down to her friends, she really cares about them. She really wants them to like come out on top and like whatever villain that they're fighting. She wants everybody to live and go home happy. So it's kind of like that type of situation. So I feel like I just need to understand that person better as a character. But yeah, I definitely think I have a better understanding of them, but I feel like she's just not as, I feel like I understand the other 3 characters more than I understand her, and I feel like I need to understand her on the same level as I understand the other 3 characters. What a tongue twister. Let's move on. It says, make the king more menacing. So obviously, you know, our big bad in this story is a crazy, heinous, menacing king. I feel like I want him to be like literally scary and dark, and I just don't know how I can. I honestly feel like I need to really watch some like villain stuff, really read some villain, like really like good arcs. When I think of a true villain, I'm thinking about Joker, but I'm also not thinking of him as, my villain is a bit more calculated and less wild as the Joker. So I need to go with someone maybe deeper, but someone that's also cocky. I don't know, but I feel like through all those personalities, the main thing that I want to do is make him a lot more menacing and scary. And I actually just saw a video on TikTok, and it was like how to make your villain more scary. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have to take notes on that, because I feel like he's scary, but I feel like he's not scary enough. And I feel like the consequences of some of the girls' actions, they need to result in like his wrath. And like that's gonna prove like that scary, that menacing type of feeling. So I really want to capture that. I really want to feel like there's high stakes, and that people at any time, anybody can get it. Like if that makes sense. Like if anytime anybody can get it. Like no one is safe. Everybody's at risk. If you're going up against this guy, it's a high possibility that you're not going to make it out, you know? And I really want to have that like menacing fear type of persona for him. I think another thing that I want to do is show more power usage from all characters. I feel like I just see some of the characters use their powers outside of fighting, of course. But I feel like I want to see, and even in fighting, I feel like there's like one character who we don't even see her fighting style until like the end of the book. Obviously, as soon as they get their powers, they don't know how to use them as well, and if they do use them, it's kind of like out of control, like it's crazy. It's not a very controlled, it's not very controlled when they use their powers. So for the most part, I do want to show them using their powers more. I feel like also power progression is very important to me. I don't really care for, oh, this brand new character in a book in a world that they don't even know gets some crazy powers, and towards the beginning of the book, it's kind of like they're a freaking deer in headlights and they have no clue how to use their powers. But towards the end of the book, they are a whiz at their powers and they can do all these different types of things. And so I feel like towards the middle of that, there needs to be some type of, we need to see a good transition of, oh, learning, actually picking up on powers, actually understanding how to use our powers, fighting abilities, all that type of stuff. I want there to be a transition that makes sense going from like novice to like expert, you know? So that's kind of what I really, really, really want to show. And that's hard, but I have to do it. Delete too much scenery stuff, / descriptions. I did dedicate like one chapter to describing a house. Why I did that, I don't know. But I did do that, and I don't need to do that anymore. So I'm gonna probably end up deleting that entire freaking chapter and dedicate it to something else. But I need to make sure that when I am giving descriptions, because I actually have like multiple, like whenever they get into a new place, I like describe it, I feel like in too much detail, and that's the issue. So I'm going to try not to do that. And I actually saw a TikTok, and they're like, oh, like when the author describes the scenery too much, and it's like, oh, boring or something like that. It's like super boring. And I'm like, oh shoot, I literally did that. My bad. The next one is, go into more depth about each character. I feel like I only went into depth about maybe 2 characters. One character I definitely went into depth with. The other character I know I went into depth with, but I think I can go into depth with her more, and I might even change some of her background stuff because I don't think I particularly like it. But I do want to go into more depth about all 4 characters. Not only that, but I also want to go into depth about those characters, but not make it as if it's like info dump, you know? Like, I don't want to do that. Work in more conversations. I feel like the characters, I kind of want them to have just more regular conversations. Like, obviously they're not gonna have just too much regular conversations because everything in their life is at stake, but I do want them to have conversations that really show their personalities. I mean, one of them is from El Paso, Texas, and one of them has two of them are technically from the South, but one of them is kind of more Southern than the other, and I want that to kind of be like obviously it's revealed and obviously the audience knows, but I kind of want it to, like, when she speaks and the things she does, her actions, you can kind of see how she's a lot more like maybe countryer than the other girl from the South, or from the other people like from North or whatever the freak. So yeah, like that's kind of just some things. I think that's actually it for the major things that I need to work on. And obviously this is just for the first editing portion, so I'm sure I'm gonna find a lot of other stuff that I need to work on, because I actually have a whole nother doc of things that I need to check. But if I told you about that, this video will be super, super, super long, and I know this video is already super, super, super long, so whatever. But anyway, I feel like this video is so long already, and I'm so sorry for that. And honestly, you're probably not even still watching, which that's okay. That's kind of like my plan going forward. I'm actually gonna go ahead and get started now on doing the reread, and then like writing down some edits and all that type of stuff in my book. Honestly gonna take probably a long time. I need to honestly set some goals for myself. I don't know what goals I'm going to set, but I'll probably tell you about those goals in maybe an upcoming vlog that I'm gonna do, basically showing me getting through chapter by chapter, editing, all that other type of stuff. So we'll see. But I did want to do a breakdown like this before I got into the editing portion and kind of give you guys an idea of how it was going to go. Anyway, like, comment, and subscribe. If you made it to the end of this video, comment some cute little white hearts. And this is Project CR editing first start of editing. So yeah. You can just call it Project Rogues though. I think we're just gonna call it Project Rogues. I think I like that better. Project CR, we'll get into that part later. I'll tell you what the C stands for. But as far as you guys need to know, Project Rogues, which I honestly might even change the title because I don't even know if they're considered rogues, but we'll see. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Hope you have a wonderful day, night, afternoon, or whatever time it is. And toodaloo!